Today we will do these two topics here. They are linear functions of random variable and linear combinations of random variable. Okay. After this, we'll try to see binomial distribution, and if time permit, we'll see Poisson distribution as well. Okay. So first, let us see these two topics. Linear functions of a random variable. So we have a random variable, say okay. So okay. So if we have random variable x, then linear function means a function of the form ax plus b. Okay. So this is what linear functions. Then second, linear combinations of random variables. So we have say n number of random variable x1, x2, xn. Then linear combination means a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus a xn. Okay. And then we will extend this again little bit. So if this can be assumed as x, then we can take a linear function of this, that is this plus some constant. We will add this constant to this also. So we generally will see here three types. Simple one is y is equal to ax plus b. Then second is like a1 x1 plus a2 x2. And third type will be a1 x1 plus a2 x2 plus b type. Okay. So these three types of functions we will see here. And see their properties. Properties means that this will again be a random variable. So random variable, so what will be the mean of the random variable and what will be the standard deviation of the random variable. These two are important things for us to know. Okay. So let us first see linear functions. So linear functions a and b are real numbers. Okay. So x is the given random variable, and we have defined another random variable, say y, which is ax plus b. So if this is the result, then we have already seen these results when we studied expectation. So E of y is equal to, or it is very easy to prove. If you have any doubt, then Ey will be E of ax plus b, and then this will be, in case of this, we take to the summation ax plus b, and if the mass function is fx, okay, and then with the help of this, we can prove that it comes out to be aex plus b. And we have also seen that variance of y is a square of variance of x. So there is no role of b as far as the calculation of variance of y is concerned. Okay. So whatever the value of b is, it doesn't matter. Only thing is that variance of y is equal to a square variance of x. So these things we have already seen. And if you want to find a standard deviation, then this will be standard deviation mod of a sigma x. So we will take the positive value of a. If it is negative, take positive value. no sign. So application, for example, this is one of the application. If you know that, remember that if x is normal variable, okay, x is normal random variable, and mu is mean and sigma is standard deviation, then we know that this become standard normal variable with mean 0 and variance 1. So this is one kind of shifting origin and scale, change of origin and scale. Okay, so we have changed the origin also. That is, origin is shifted mu distance, and also the scale 1 by sigma times. Then we know that this y is standard normal variable, and its mean is 0 and standard deviation is 1. So this we have used in case of normal distribution. We will see it actually. But then this is nothing but of the form ax plus b. A is 1 by sigma, b is minus mu by sigma. So what is the cumulative distribution of y? So what is y? Y is ax plus b. Okay, so we know everything about x. Okay, we know everything about x means we know mean of x, we know standard deviation of x, we know probability mass function of x. We also know the cumulative distribution function of x. But then, what is the cumulative distribution of ax plus b that we have to see? So this is actually at any point y, definition of fyy. This is actually cumulative distribution function of y. So this is probability of y less than or equal to y. And then if you solve this y less than or equal to y, this will be ax less than or equal to y minus b, and therefore x less than or equal to y minus b upon a. So this we get actually. So this is equal to px less than or equal to 1. But what about this as notation? This is cumulative distribution function of x at the point y minus b upon a. So fyy is equal to fx y minus b upon a. Okay. So these are there. If a is greater than 0, and if a is negative, okay, if this a is positive, then this will be positive, and therefore x is less than. But if you negative, then this inequality will change the sign, and in that case, this will be equal to 1 minus fx y minus b upon a. So you can see that for any value of a, we can find the cumulative distribution function of y. So I think let us see one example. So this is there. So suppose that the raw scores x from a particular testing procedure are distributed between -5 and 20 with an expected value of 10 and variance of 7. Okay. So in order to standardize the scores so that they lie between 0 and 100, so what we have to do, our score lies between -5 and 20, and we want these scores to lie between 0 and 100. So we have to get a function x. So if you take 4x plus 20, then you can see that all these values which are equal to -5 till 20 up to 20 now lies between 0 and 100. That can be checked. So this linear transformation serves the purpose. There may be more. Okay. So then we have to find the what mean and standard deviation and cumulative distribution of y. So we can use all these results that we have derived here. Okay, you can see that A is 4 positive, and therefore we can use this result to find cumulative. So before that, x is equal to 12, somewhere there. Expected value of 10 and variance of 7. Okay. So this is actually not a. I thought this is mean. This is not mean. This means actually it's meaning. Okay. So for example, x is equal to 12. We'll have y value 68. Okay. And 20 will have 100 value like that. So that is. So this EY expectation. So EY is equal to 4EX plus 20, and therefore it is 60 mean value. Variance of y will be a square variance of x. This will be a square variance of x. But then how this is 42? Because variance of y is equal to a square variance of x. So if a is 4, this should not be 42. Variance of 7 here. Okay. All right. So I think there is mistake here. This 7 is correct, variance of x, but this will be a square. So a square will be, this will be 16. And then I think this is correct 112. Okay. So this is problem. And then standard deviation we can find. Now we can see it is not given here. But if you want to find, say, FYY at any point, okay. Now y lies between, you can see that it lies between 0 and 100. So you can take any point here. For example, if you take 30, okay. So Fy 30 will be equal to Fx 30 minus B. Okay, and B is here. You can see that, but it B is 20. This is 20. So 30 minus 20 upon 8, 4. All right. So in this way, we can find the things that we don't know actually. This CDF, I think, and therefore this CDF of y is not calculated here. But in this second problem, I think that is a continuous case. It is calculated here. So this Fyy is equal to Fxy minus B upon it. So the second problem is about conversion of centigrade and Fahrenheit temperature, X degree Fahrenheit formula. Okay. Is known to be, so in centigrade it is 220 to 280 with probability density function. So PDF is given here. Okay. And therefore we can find Ex sigma x variance of x, and similarly CDF of fx. Okay, so we can find cumulative distribution function of random variable x. So since the lower limit is 220, our integral will start from 220 to x. This is actually, this fx is symbolically, this is x less than or equal to x. Okay, but then this is theoretically it is minus 22, sorry, minus infinity to x, and then fx dx. Okay, but since our interval, that is domain, is actually 220 to 280, so this lower limit will be 220 actually. So this will be 222x fx dx. So you can just put fx here, that is x minus 190 by 3600, and integrate. So we'll get this function. This is cumulative distribution function, CDF. And say if you know CDF of capital X, we can find CDF of capital Y. So this is our Y, and then we can find this Fy. Y is equal to Fx y minus b upon a. So both b and a are known. We can substitute there. Okay, so in this way. Okay. And then what other things are done here? So we know CDF. Okay, this one. So from CDF, then we have obtained density function by differentiating CDF. Okay, and once a density function is obtained, then we can find expectation, mean, and variance. Okay, so these are the things about linear function of a random variable x. Okay. Then comes a linear combination. So if you have two random variable x1 and x2, then we are taking the simplest case, x1 plus x2. We will generalize this a little later. So we can prove that E of x1 plus x2 is equal to E of x1 plus E of x2. And in general, variance of x1 plus x2 is equal to variance of x plus variance of x2 plus 2 times covariance of x1, x2. Okay, so it is not directly this part only. This extra, this covariance between them is also added here with twice, 2 times. But then if you assume that x1 and x2 are independent, then this part will be 0. Okay, because we know that for independent random variables, covariance between them is equal to 0. And then variance of x1 plus x2 will be variance of x1 plus variance of x2. So this we have to check or see whether this thing is there or not. If you are talking about independent random variable, no problem. So this is a more general case. Y is equal to a1 x1 plus an xn plus constant b. This is linear combination of x1, x2, xn. So expectation of linear combination. So we get this Ey is equal to this, and from where we get this result? Simply applying this result, that is Ey is equal to a ex plus b if y is equal to ax plus b. So in place of x, you just substitute this part. A1 x1 plus an xn and b is b. Okay. So this part you substitute. You can prove that E of y is equal to A1 exn and then variance. So again we know that what we know. Here you can see that if this x1, x2 are independent, then variance will be sum of variances. Okay. So here our assumption is actually that independent actually. Yes. So if these x1, x2, xn are independent, then variance of y will be variance of this part plus variance of this part plus variance of this part. And variance of a1, x1 will be a square variance of x1. So it is there. All right. But then keep this thing in mind, this independent, these variables are independent, okay? Otherwise, this B will create problem. Okay, so let us see what happens here. X1, X2 both have an expectation of mu and variance sigma squared. Okay, so both are having mean value mu and variance sigma squared. So what about y1 and y2? So y1 and y2, very obvious. Ey1 will be 2 mu and Ey2 will be mu minus mu is equal to 0. And all right, an independent random variable, then we can talk about, I think, variance. Okay. So variance of y1 will be variance of x1 plus variance of x2, and both variances are equal to sigma square, so it will be 2 sigma square. And variance of y2 will again be 2 sigma square. How? Because the y2 is actually x1 plus minus 1 times x2. So this is 1 time. And therefore, variance of y2 will be 1 square variance of x1 plus minus 1 square variance of x2, and therefore it is again 2 sigma square.
सर ये सब केस में अगर डिपेंडेंट वेरिएबल हो तब तो थिंग्स वो बहुत कॉम्प्लेक्स हो जाएगी, राइट?
हाँ, डिपेंडेंट में तो फिर हमको ये वैल्यू चाहिए रहेगा ना, दैट कोवेरिएंस ऑफ x1 x2.
Yeah, that is in case of 2 variables, but in case of n variables, it will become very complex, right?
Yeah. वो तो प्रॉब्लम होगा ही. Now next is this average. Okay. So far we have simple additions and subtraction of 2 or more random variables. So now we take average of n random variables. This we denote by x bar. So x1 plus x2 plus xn divided by n. Okay. And in this case, suppose each of these random variable have mean mu and standard deviation sigma. Okay. Then we will see what about this mean and SD of x bar. Okay. So this is again a random variable. Okay. This y is equal to x bar is equal to each constant a1, a2, an is equal to 1 upon n. You can assume. Okay. So then if you can see that this Ex bar is equal to mu. Okay. So this is actually summation xi upon n. So if you take its expectation, this will be summation E of xi upon n. And summation EXI is actually mu. So this will become n mu upon n. And therefore it is equal to mu. And then variance. So variance will be what? So this is actually 1 upon n square variance of x1 plus 1 upon n square variance of xn. And each variance we know that is sigma square. So this is actually 1 upon n square sigma square plus sigma square. This is n times. Okay. So n sigma square by n square, that gives sigma square by n. So you see that all these things will be using when we study distribution. Okay. That normal distribution, and after that T distribution, chi distribution, okay, F distribution. So all these things will be used. So what we can say here, that if n random variables have mean mu, their average will have mean mu, but the variance will have the random variable will have the variance sigma square by n. So variance is reduced actually, mean is same. Okay, so this is a very simple thing. If you take average of 2, okay, then also R3, R4, this variation will be reducing. So averaging independent random variables reduces variability. Okay, that is variation is reduced. So this you can see what the problem is actually. So this mostly people do while evaluating students. Procedure: candidate must take 2 tests. X1 measures the score of a candidate on test 1 and X2 measures the score of a candidate on test 2. Furthermore, the score on test 1 are distributed between 0 and 30 with an expectation of 18 and variance of 24. Okay. And that the scores on test 2 are distributed between -10 and 50 with an expectation of 30 and variance of 60. Now what examination board want? The examining board wishes to standardize each test score to lie between 0 and 100. Okay, we have done this type of things previously. Previously means in this lecture only. So the first one is a 0 to 30, so I think no need to standardize, or even then we can standardize, no problem. And but here you have some negative scores, so we also want or make them to positive. Okay. And then calculate a final score out of 100, that is weighted average of 1 and 2 score. So first is 2 by 3, and the second test score is 1 by 2, 1 by 3 weighted. So this board want. So finally, we have to do these things. So what we do then, we
CBSE assessment, I think they will need this kind of statistics.
yeah,
They
yeah.
want to aggregate many kind of tests and do a weighted average.
Yeah,
Then
yeah,
everything will be on different scales. So they want to bring on the same scale, right?
yeah, yeah.
So I think they will, this is the perfect problem for that.
And almost this all the IITs and NITs where these relative grading are there, okay, they use this kind of things. Well,
Sir,
sometimes what? Hello.
मैं बोल रहा हूँ सर, अब तो सॉफ्टवेयर आ गए होंगे सर इस तरह का काम करने के.
सॉफ्टवेयर तो होंगे ही, आई थिंक. होंगे सॉफ्टवेयर होंगे, मगर जो थ्योरी है वो ये रहता है जनरली. और इसके जो रिलेटिव ग्रेडिंग के बहुत मैंने ड्रॉबैक्स सुने हैं वो बहुत ही मतलब प्रॉब्लमेटिक है. तो शॉर्ट में बताना चाहूँ तो व्हाट दे डू स्टूडेंट्स एक्चुअली, ये आईआईटी रुड़की की कहानी है. सो व्हाट दे डू, द स्टूडेंट डिसाइड व्हाट टू स्टडी एंड हाउ मच टू स्टडी. Okay. For example, in a paper, suppose here we have 5 units. So student decided that we will study only 3 units and we will solve problems of those units only. So in relativity, IIT, what they do actually, then they take, I think they scale these numbers. And some apply some normal distribution. Okay, they have fixed percentage that this percent of this much number of students should get grading above say C plus, sorry, B plus, means A or A plus. So they have fixed number of, so this number of students will get these grades whatever the score of their in their subjects. Okay, so this type of things people do. Okay, so what they do, they don't study 40 marks, they study for 60 marks only, or even if they score 50, 55, ultimately the top is going to a percentile kind of thing to 95, 98, 99. Okay.
Yeah, sir.
So ये आईटी रुड़की में इस टाइप से सुना है मैंने. Okay, so what we want here, you can see that this negative, we want to make it positive. So we have defined two functions of y1, y2. Okay, and then final score z will be 2 by 3 of y1. Okay, and then 1 by 3 of y2. So this is my linear combination of random variable x1, x2. And then we can check if some student in the test 1 has 11 and test 2, 2. Okay, then what will be his final score? Okay, so you can see that x1 means just consider only you have 2 papers, and on the basis of that you want to prepare result. Okay, so students is getting 11 marks and 2 marks only, but then its final score become 31 marks. So this is a relative grading kind of things. And then we can find EZ, that is expectation. So expectation is simply 20 by 9 expectation of x1 plus 5 by 9 expectation of x2 plus 50 by 9. Okay, then what is the variance of the final score? Okay, So I think I should read this. At this point, it is important to remember that the scores a candidate receives on the two tests may not be independent. Okay. So this is very important to check whether our random variables are dependent or independent. If they are independent, then it is easy to find the variance and other things. Okay. But if they are dependent, then it will be difficult. Okay. So in fact, they will be independent only if they measure two unrelated qualities of the candidate. But here you can see that these are not unrelated qualities. Giving two papers or two examinations, it is the same kind of things for the student. They are related actually. If you say that it is one paper is statistics, other paper is mathematics. Okay, so they are related. You can't assume that they are not related. So this is what it means. So if, for example, test 1 measure a candidate's proficiency at probability and test 2 measures a candidate's proficiency at statistics, then the test score should not be independent. And the calculation of the variance of the final score actually requires knowledge of the covariance between the two test scores. Okay, this we have discussed. On the other hand, suppose that test 1 measures a candidate's proficiency at probability, but that test 2 measures candidate's athletic abilities. Okay, then it is reasonable to assume that the two test scores are independent of each other, and in this case we can find the variance like this, right? So important thing is that we should check for independentness of the random variables. That's all. So this is all about this linear combination and functions of random variables. So now we'll start distributions, and first we will do some discrete distribution. Okay.
सर वो काई टेस्ट, काई स्क्वायर टेस्ट और एफ टेस्ट और टी टेस्ट ये सब काई मतलब which heading it will come? F test, T test, chi square test. We'll cover that.
Yeah, we'll cover, and they will come after normal distribution because
Right,
they are related to normal distributions. All these tests, chi square, F square distribution, chi square. Then after distribution, we actually say chi test, T test, F test. So they will be used in inferences. For example, confidence intervals and theory of hypothesis, other things that we will use. But the distribution part we will study just after studying a normal distribution.
Right, sir.
So we'll see the discrete distribution first, like important one is binomial, Poisson, double S, I think. Okay, these two are important, and then we will move to continuous distribution. Okay, and there I had planned normal distribution only, but if you require some more distribution, just tell me. For example, like a rectangular distribution is there, Weibull distribution is there, and if this type of distributions are required, you can tell me, I can have a talk on that also. This beta distribution is there, gamma distribution is there, exponential distribution is there. Okay, So we'll see binomial distribution
Sir,
first.
will binomial, Poisson, and continuous, all three, these three are enough, I think. More than that, we don't need.
Okay,
Binomial, Poisson, and this
normal
normal
distribution.
distribution.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay. So we'll see first this binomial distribution. And before binomial, we'll see this Bernoulli's trials, I think, Bernoulli's distribution. So let us see what is Bernoulli's distribution. So it's a random experiment in which there are precisely two possible outcomes. Okay, there are precisely two possible outcomes, which we conventionally call failure or success. Now, for example, in tossing a coin, it is very obvious that it has only two possibilities. Okay, but for example, if you consider dice, okay, then you can see that there are 6 possibilities. Okay, 1 to 6. But you will see that in our problem, whatever the problem will discuss, we can divide these 6 possibilities in 2 sets. Okay, so one set will be our failure set, other set will be our success set. Okay, so this type of problems or experiment we will consider. So we'll talk about this 2-point set only, that is success or failure, no other thing. And then this is our convention that generally we assume value of f as 0 and the value of success is 1. Okay, so these are obvious. So this probability mass function of this random variable, which random variable? This is our random variable. Okay, so this is a random variable x from the set f s 2 or it is defined like this: xf is equal to 0, xs is equal to 1, and then with the help of this random variable, we can define probability mass function f0 is equal to px is equal to 0, and that is equal to 1 minus p. Okay, so what we have assumed actually that this probability is 1. What is x is equal to 1? So if the probability of success is p, failure is v 1 minus p. So in general, if okay, so this is, we have only 2 values of x here, 0 and 1. So this 0 and 1 are actually numbers. What is 0 means 0 success. Okay, 1 means 1 success. So for example, if you toss a coin twice, okay, and suppose the success means getting head. So in this case, the value of x may be 0, 1, 2. So 0 head, 1 head, 2 head, because we are throwing coin twice. Okay, so this is for this example only. Okay, so in general, our PMF looks like p to the power x 1 minus p to the power 1 minus x. Okay, so this is for just 2, but we will generalize this. So this is called probability of success. But where we will generalize this in the binomial distribution, because we have a binomial distribution is actually this binomial distribution is actually in Bernoulli's trial or Bernoulli's distribution. So n is not multiplication. Don't think this n trials actually. Rather, I should write n trials of Bernoulli distribution. So for one trial we have this. So if you have n trials, then what will be the success and failure, other things like this. So this is a Bernoulli distribution. PDF is a p to the power x, 1 minus p to the power 1 minus x is equal to 0, 1. So for example, you can see that 6-sided die. So problem is, our experiment is what? What is the probability of getting a score not less than 5? Not less than 5 means we want to get a score greater than or equal to 5. And therefore, these are our, this is our success set. Okay? If I get 5 or if I get 6, this is my success. And same time, failure set will be 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can divide this. So x is equal to 0. Failure is 4 by 6 because there are 4 elements and 6 possibilities, and success is probability 2 by 6. So these are the things we can get. You just remember these, or I'm not going into the details. So mean of binomial or Bernoulli distribution is P, and variance is P1 minus P. All right. And this is just a one trial. Okay. In binomial distribution, we will have n trials. So you'll see that this become NP and this become NP1 minus P. Okay. So there you will see, and this is moment generating function. We can prove that 1 minus P plus P to the power T. So if you remember, what is MXT is equal to? This is expectation of e to the power Tx. Okay. And then other properties of this MGF is, if you differentiate once and take t is equal to 0, you will get mean. Okay, and mean or ex. If you differentiate twice and take t is equal to 0, you will get ex square. And once ex square is obtained, ex is already obtained, we can find variance with the help of this MXT. So all these things we have done. This is mu x, or this is actually ex. So this is the definition. We have two values of x only, 0 and 1. So this comes out. Then sigma x square. So sigma x square is equal to E of x minus mu x square. Okay. Or other thing is, this is also E of x square minus E of x whole square. So either you can use this or this, both we can use. So this is P1 minus P. And moment generating function is expectation of e to the power dx, so we get this. So let us come to this binomial distribution. As I said earlier, it is n trials of Bernoulli distribution, okay, or Bernoulli experiment. So for example, tossing a coin 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, 100 times, okay, and then probability of obtaining 2 head, 3 head, 4 head, 5 head, 6 head, okay, these things. So this experiment in Bernoulli trials, each trial is independent, okay. So independent means the outcome of the is independent of the previous outcome, okay. Outcome of the experiment is independent of the previous outcome. It's then they are independent. In that each have a constant probability P of success. So this we have assumed. So if these three things are satisfied, then the distribution is said to be binomial distribution. Okay, and then this binomial distribution is written as BNP. P for binomial, N is number of trials, and P is the probability of success. And these are known as parameters of binomial distributions. Parameters of binomial distribution. All right. So this remark we should know. Sometimes it may be helpful. So assume that a finite population contains items of two types, success or failures. In that a simple random sample is drawn from the population. So what it says, if the sample size is no more than 5% of the population, the binomial distribution may be used to model the number of successes. So this number is given somewhere, 5%. Okay, so our sample is less than 5% of the population. Sample is this number in the sample is less than or equal to 5% of population. We may prefer to apply binomial distribution to model the number of successes. So you can see let a lot contains several thousand components, 10% of which are defective. Several thousand components, 10% of which are defective. 7 components are sampled from the lot. Let X represent the number of defective components in the sample. So what is the distribution of X? So what is the distribution of X? Now X is what? It is number of defective components. So distribution means simply we have to find these values. X0, X1, X2, X3.
मम्मी बोलतो त्यांच्याशी समजलं माझ्या ITL ब्रेकशी बोलतो.
So these values we have to obtain x0, x1, x2, x3, x7 because there are seven components are sampled from the lot. Okay. So n is 7 and probability of success, we can assume that this is the probability of success. What is that? Is getting defective component. So this is 10%, which is 0.1. Okay. So n is equal to 7 and then 0.1. So this problem is actually to show you how to find this n and p, just to model b and p. So what are n and what are p? Okay. So this random variable x is equivalent to binomial distribution, say 1, 0.1. Okay. That's we want to say that x is equal to, sorry, b n is 7 and the probability 0.1. So if you know these two things, then you will see that we can find all the things. So, but before that, we should know what will be PMF, probability mass function. Okay. So, for example, in case of tossing a coin, and this is, I think, biased coin is there. Okay, that is 0.6 probability of getting head, and therefore 0.4 will be the probability of getting tail. So if getting head is our success, and 3 trials are there, the coin is tossed 3 times, and therefore this BD will be B3 0.6. Now if you want to compute Px is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2 means getting 2 head. Getting 2 heads. So now we have 3 trials actually, and we want 2 head. Okay, so this you can see that it could be HST or HTH or THH in all this. Okay. So we first compute the probability of HST. So H on the first toss, H on the second toss, and T on the third. HTH means H on first, T on second, and H on third. So you just multiply the probabilities of success and failure. Okay. So this is 1/6, 1/6 into 1/4. This will be 1/6, 1/4, 1/6, and this will be 1/4, 1/6, 1/6. Okay. Or in terms of decimal, we can do. So this is the probability of HST. Similarly, HTH and THH have the same probability, and therefore probability of getting either of these, we have to add all these probabilities. So it is easy to see that all the different arrangements are same probability. So probability of x is equal to 2. So x is equal to 2, either this is the case or this is the case or this is. So this is R, you have to add the probabilities. So this is this. This is the, actually, you can generalize this actually. This probability is nothing but 3C2 0.6 to the power 2 and 0.4 to the power 1. So just generalize this. What is this? N. C. Suppose R is the number of success. So this is probability of success is P. So this is P to the power R. This is P actually. So N is number of trial, R is number of success, P is probability of success, so P to the power R. And then this is 1 minus P. We also denote it by Q. So Q to the power N minus R. Okay. So this is in general the PMF of R success. This is probability of R success out of N trials. And you know that this is nothing but binomial coefficient. If you expand P plus Q to the power N, or so this goes like this: Q to the power N, or you can start with P to the power N, doesn't matter. Okay, and then next will P to the power N minus 1 P, next will be, and then if some binomial coefficients comes, NC 1. Okay, so NC1, P to the power 1, Q to the power N minus 1. Then come NC2, P2, Q to the power N minus 2. And it goes like this. So in general, NCR will be our RS success. This is 0S success. So this is probability of 0 success. This is probability of 1 success. This is probability of 2 success. So in general, probability of R success is NCR P to the power R, Q to the power N minus R, which is nothing but some RF term in the binomial expansion of P plus Q to the power N. And therefore, this distribution is known as binomial distribution. So this is general. Here it has taken, I have taken their R, but they have taken it in X. So they will say NCX. Number of X success in N trials into P to the power X. So P to the power X. And this is 1 minus P is Q. So Q is N minus X. Q is equal to 1 minus. So this is our probability mass function. NCX P to the power X, 1 minus P to the power N minus X. X is equal to 0, 1, 2, and otherwise it is 0. So this is our binomial distribution, B and P. And in B and P, PMF is this function. And this NCX, we know that. NCR we have generally studied. So NCR is factorial N upon factorial N minus R factorial R. If it is X, this will be X.
Sir, I had a small question here. See, when we say X is equal to 0 to N, then probability is this expression, okay? Otherwise is 0, right? So what cases are covered in otherwise? We have covered all the cases of X in first expression itself, no? So what is otherwise? What is covered in otherwise?
It's a good question.
We can take in the next class, sir. No issues.
Yeah. I think a little about.
Yeah. Sure.
We actually, when we teach somewhere, generally we don't discuss about this 0. We discuss about this only. But I have taken it from some book, and they have written like this. So I have to see actually. Right, we have N trials only, so the probability of successes can be 0, 1, 2, N only. That is true. So why it is otherwise then? Why it is N plus 1 or?
Yeah, that is why my exactly question. It cannot be N plus 1, na?
Yeah.
When total cases are N, then how it can be N plus 1?
Probability mass function. Yes. Okay, I'll think about it. So if X is B at 0.5, so N is the number of trials and P is the 0.5, that is probability of success. So if you want to calculate Px is equal to 3, this is simple thing. 8C3, 0.5 to the power 3 and 1 minus 0.5 to the power 8 minus 3, that is equal to 5. And X less than or equal to 1, so if we consider, we have to consider two cases, that is X is equal to 0 and X is equal to 1 and add them. This is a symmetric distribution. This you can see that this distribution is very much symmetric. Okay.
Oh, much more looks like a normal distribution only,
Yes,
sir.
yes. And therefore, we can, if n is sufficiently large, we can model this distribution by a normal distribution.
Okay, okay.
Or we can say that we can approximate binomial distribution by a normal distribution, but n should be sufficiently large so that we can calculate these values. Well, these values will be on the graph of normal distribution, no problem. But what about the in between?
Yeah, so it's a specialized
So
case
here,
we can see.
here. So this type of things are there, but so we can approximate this distribution with a binomial distribution, no problem. So other problems are there. Bn 0.5 symmetric probability distribution. So this is because this I think probability is 0.5. Otherwise, maybe some problem may be there as far as the symmetric distribution is concerned. This is 0.5, so we are getting the same value both sides of mean. Okay, but let us see some. So these are the expansion for mean, standard deviation, and moment generating functions. So that I think if required, you can see from here. And this how we can generate this mean and EX square from MGF. So as I said earlier, we just take first derivative, put t is equal to 0, differentiate twice with respect to t, and then put t is equal to 0. Okay, so this, let us see this problem. Here probability is 0.261 that a milk container is underweight. Okay, suppose that the milk containers are shipped to retail outlets in boxes of 20 containers. So what is the distribution of the number of underweight containers in a box? So this is N is 20 and P is 261 because we want underweight containers distribution. Okay, so this is 20.261. So mean is 5.22, variance is 3.86. And just see this distribution here. Some probabilities are also calculated. For example, if there are 7 underweight containers, so what is the probability? Less than or equal to 3 underweight in a box. So what is the probability? Okay. So this is also very much normal, but not exactly the normal distribution. Okay. You can see
it is right tailed, no?
Yeah, yeah. So similarly, some more problems are there. I think same kind of problem, and this is our problem left tail.
Yeah, left tail, yeah, reverse. Sir, good collection of example. If we have a look at that, all concepts will be clear. Yeah.
Actually, if you see these American books, no,
Yeah,
they have a very practical examples actually.
yeah.
In our Indian author book, you will not find this type of examples.
Hmm. And better to keep practical oriented only, sir. Why you need theoretical in engineering?
Hey. Therefore, I have taken all these photographs and other things. Uh, so let us have some interesting things. This graphs and this milk container means box containing 20 packets like that.